Make sure you check us out tomorrow. Eight-time All-Star Dwight Howard joins the show. Could be a fun chat. First things first, tune in. All right, back here with Sarah Kustok. To say the Warriors could use a shot of Kevin Durant would be an understatement at this point. They might get that shot tonight. KD questionable after practicing yesterday. There's reportedly, though, been doubt and angst and even some confusion over his availability of late. Some of that head-scratching coming from Durant's teammates. Sarah, what was your reaction when you heard this?
I have trouble. I have all the respect in the world for journalists who are there every day in getting a chance to come up with reports like this. I just have trouble with it because the players that are at this level, particularly someone like Kevin Durant, no one knows his body better than him. I don't think, and from all accounts of the Warriors and the Warriors side, it's not just Kevin Durant's decision on whether or not he will play. So I believe that if he were healthy, if he were ready enough to play, that he would be on the floor. So I don't like to speculate about injuries. I don't like to speculate about players. I tore my calf. I know you said you tore both of yours. There was instances where it's not a pain tolerance thing. It just does not trigger. It simply does not work and allow you to do the things that you need to do on the floor to perform. Is frustration, they're frustrated at Kevin? Is frustration, they're just frustrated that the series is at what it is and he hasn't been able to be on the floor? Are they frustrated for him? The fact that he maybe thought he was able to go back and it seemed like there was a setback? That's more of my opinions on that. I have a hard time necessarily believing that teammates think that if he could and should be on the floor playing, that someone like him, who was playing at the level he was at the early part of the postseason, wouldn't be out there.
But yes, I give Kevin Durant that, but each of us as players, we have a group of people that travels around with us. And just because you believe that doesn't mean someone in your group is saying, you know something, if this was Clay, if it was Steph, if it was Draymond, because they've all, besides Steph, have been, man, warriors on, I mean, not to use the play on words, but they have really been very, very tough, dependable basketball players. Kevin Durant's hurt, though. And what you're talking about as far as the calf, people might think, oh, it's just a strain. Like, you don't get any lift. You can't get any lift. You can't get off the ground. You can't dorsiflex your foot and go down and explode, because then you're afraid your Achilles is going to tear. So there's a couple mental things that go with tearing your calf or straining your calf. So I don't believe Kevin Durant could play. I believe he was out there. I believe basketball is his safe haven. I believe it's the spot in his life that he is the most comfortable. And to think that an elite athlete, potentially the best player in the world, wouldn't be out there on the court, to me, it's idiotic. And I'll take you back to a lot of the things that happened to Kawhi. When did Kawhi's reputation start taking a hit? Based on an injury. Based on the staff thought that he should be out there. The coaching staff thought he should be out there. Then they had Tony Parker chime in. That was probably the message of someone on the staff to say, oh, my quad was 100 times worse than that. That's when Kawhi took it personal that, man, I feel insulted. Someone is saying that I don't have sports integrity. Someone is saying that I could be out there playing and I'm healthy. And that's how Kawhi ended up in Toronto. I'm not going to do this to Kevin Durant. It's not fair, even though there might be some idiots in the locker room or part of the group of guys in the locker room that hang with the players that think that. But Kevin Durant, I believe he could be out there, he'd be out there.
But unlike the Kawhi situation, Nick, Kevin Durant's training staff has not given him the okay. And it's important to know this isn't Kevin Durant's decision.
Well, so it's not Kevin Durant's decision, and these reports are they're written very interestingly, because to me, and I've been following this league long enough to know how some of these things come about, which is a guy tells you off the record or on background, we're surprised he's not out there. And if I'm being honest with you, we think if it were Clay, if it were Iguodala, if it were Draymond, they'd be out there. But on the record, man, the trainer has not cleared him, and he is not allowed to play until the trainer clears him. Because it's not unfair to say this. And by the way, I agree 100% that if Kevin Durant thought he could play, he would be playing. Now, then we get into the different dynamics of, well, do you need to just convince yourself you can play? Because there's clearly been, something has been amiss here. From the initial diagnosis of, man, we dodged a bullet, not only because it wasn't a torn Achilles, but because it's not a significant tear. It is just whatever grade 1 or strain that they called it. To we could see him game 1 of the finals, to game 3's on the board, game 4 is probable, and now it's game 5 and he hasn't played yet. Something has happened there. But think about the comments they used when Klay got hurt. And this is just, in everything in life, if there's one extreme, there's another, the yin to the yang, if you will. When Klay got hurt, everyone on the team was adamant. Klay is the type of guy that will fight through anything and everything, do everything you can to get back on the court. That then is a spectrum. And if Klay is at one end of the spectrum, I don't think anyone is saying Kevin Durant is at the polar opposite end, which is, oh my God, my big toe hurts a little bit, I'm going to sit this one out. But is he 70% of the way on the spectrum of where Klay is? Is he a guy who needs to feel Klay just has to be playable? And does KD have to feel a little more comfortable? It seems to me that's what these reports are implying, is that there are players on the team that feel like, damn it, man, it's the finals. And contrary to what Draymond said back in October, we actually do need you. So can you come out here? And so I think that's where these are coming from. And again, you know, to quote Slim Charles, even if it's a lie, we fight on the lie. Sometimes the lie, even if it's not the truth, starts to matter a lot. And if the feeling within the locker room is he should be out there, then that's extra external pressure on Durant.
To me, these things are easy. Let's just look at history. You tell me one elite athlete that's faked an injury out of a competition like this. Just tell me one.
But do you think does it have to be a faking of an injury as opposed to a unwillingness to, I don't think anyone on the Warriors think he faked it, but an unwillingness to fight through it for that last 10%.
Then we would think that Kevin Durant hasn't fought through anything his whole life to be where he is. Like, why would we grant Klay more grace than we're going to grant Kevin Durant? Like, why would we do that? Because we like Klay more. Why would we?
Oh, I think it would be the track record, right? That Klay we saw Klay suffer an injury in game 1 of the finals last year that I think a lot of people thought was keeping him out for game 2.
We've seen a lot of players twist their ankle like that. There's a lot of different severities to it. Kevin Durant, after the game, they thought he tore his Achilles. After the game with the Warriors, Klay said, I'll be able to play in the next game. He still wasn't able to play. The severity of the injuries, they're not even in the same stratosphere as far as, I strain my hamstring all the time. Man, my calves, oh man, that was besides my broken collarbone, that's the most significant injury that I've ever had. So let's not put them in the same class.
I think don't put them in the same class, and I keep, who are we to determine how bad an injury is that he can't be? And Klay is. He is an absolute Iron Man. He will play in any account, but I don't think that you can compare, well, Klay would be out here. We think that, I don't even think it's for us to try to speculate on what a guy can do.
Nick, you ever been sick on this show?
Like
you ever been sick? You ever been sick, you didn't come?
No.
Now, imagine if you was in the NBA Finals, much you love basketball. What would it take to get...
No, I agree.
I'm just trying to appropriate this to you.
Of course, I agree, C, but I think I think, because I was about to use an example from you. Tell me if I'm right on this. One of the things you take as much pride in as just about anything in your career is that you were out there. You talk about you broke a collarbone, you had to miss time.
I'm a different dude, man.
Right.
I ain't like them.
Of course. So that's the point I'm making. Is that it's not me questioning it. This would not have come up if it wasn't the Kawakami and Amic's report. If there are versions of Chris Carter, the NBA version, I know they're all soft or whatever.
I don't think I would be playing like Kevin Durant. When Kevin Durant got hurt, I came on the show the next day and said
he's done for the year. Absolutely.
You said he wasn't.
You said he was done for the year, but the point that I'm making is that even if that is the fair truth, we know there are guys that are, how hard will you fight through it? And it appears there are guys with the Warriors saying Durant's not fighting as hard as other guys would. And that might be wildly unfair to him.
It is unfair.
Okay.
It is unfair, and we shouldn't even represent that. We have never seen an elite athlete in this type of competition pull himself out. We've had a couple people say things about elite athletes, but they don't have any type of clue of what he's going through. Let me tell you right now, there is no one in more pain, no one more let down in the world than Kevin Durant. They're playing basketball and he can't play. He's getting ready to get MVP for the 3rd time. Steph can't carry them. All the stats, everyone's run off the, oh, they're better without KD. Where the stats at now? Everybody begging, can he limp out there? Oh, now he wasn't hurt. Oh, Klay is tougher than him. Where are your stats out now that, oh, this Golden State team's a better team? Where are your stats at now when you need them? Huh? That Kevin Durant is hurt, and if he wasn't hurt, he would be out there. That's the most obvious thing in this finals that we've seen.
It's a good conversation. Sarah, stick around. Coming up, will the Warriors dynasty end tonight? That's next on First
Where are your
Things
stats
First.
at now? Oh, they won. Get out of here with that.